Welcome, students. My name is Dr. Paul Doku, a lecturer in psychology, and I'm handling Psych 101 Elements of Psychology for this semester. This course is basically to give you a general overview as to what the field of psychology entails. Specifically, you are supposed to know the definition of psychology, the history of psychology, what makes psychology different from other means of studying human behavior. You are also supposed to look at what actually science is and whether psychology is a science or not. You are supposed to look at the various specializations in psychology. You are also supposed to know something about the use of animals in psychological research, as well as ethics that are involved. So this actually is what you are supposed to learn for this semester. As a matter of fact, psychology comes from two Greek words, psych, which means the soul, and logos, meaning the study or knowledge of. So if you put the two together, traditionally psychology has been known as the knowledge of the soul or the study of the soul. But the subject as it stands today has come to involve a whole lot, and so this definition can no longer withstand what psychologists do today. So psychology in contemporary terms is defined now as the science of behavior and mental processes. The science of behavior and mental processes. So basically it means that psychology studies both human behavior and animal behavior, as well as their thinking, their thoughts, and their intelligence, and what goes on inside them. So it means when we are talking about behavior in psychology, we are looking at two things: what we can see outside, walking, smiling, eating, and then what goes on inside the person, the emotions and the feelings that the individuals go through, which we cannot see. I must say that psychology is a science, as you can see from the definition. And one may ask, what really is a science? What makes any discipline a science is not what that discipline studies, but how they study it. So as a matter of fact, any discipline that uses the scientific method to study what the subject is concerned with becomes a science. And psychology equally uses the scientific method. And so that is what makes us a science. One may ask, why should psychology use the scientific method? Because the scientific method has gone through several, evolutions and have been able to stand the test of time. How they do it is so open. They are able to control several variables, will be able to replicate whatever findings they will come up with, and it's such that others can challenge the findings, and whatever it comes up with is not the final. Over time, when new knowledge comes up, science is able to accommodate it. So these are the beauties of science, and that is why most disciplines are picking it up. Psychology, as I've said, is not just one box of discipline. Just like any other discipline, there are various specializations within it. When you come to psychology, to the same thing, we have various areas that an individual can specialize in. But we broadly divide it into two. We have what we call applied psychology, and then we have what we call the basic psychology. Basic psychology is concerned with just studying something and coming up with a new knowledge. Applied psychology is concerned with using the knowledge and the principles of psychology to enhance an individual's behavior. So we can talk about areas of personality, biological, cognitive as examples of basic psychology. And you need to understand what these areas are all concerned with. And then we can talk about industrial psychology, which is concerned with the behavior at the workplace. We can talk about clinical psychology, which is concerned with how to use psychological principles to treat people that are suffering from psychological illnesses. So we need to know all these various specializations or areas within psychology and what exactly each one is concerned with. Psychology, as we have it today, has traveled over a long period of time. And we always say that psychology starts from two broad disciplines, science and philosophy. You need to be able to trace the history of psychology, how it started first, the kind of school of thought it started with, which was structuralism. You need to know the focus of structuralism and then the method that they were using. So for each of the various schools of thought, you need to know what exactly is the subject matter of that school of thought, and then the specific method that they use to study it, and then as well as some important figures that are concerned. So for example, if you take structuralism, the subject matter of structuralism is to look at the content or the structure elements of the human mind. And then what method were they using? Introspection. And who were some of the key proponents of this school of thought? One is Wilhelm Wundt, who is considered as the father of psychology, and Edward Titchener. And then you look at functionalism. What are they concerned with? So psychology should focus on the functions and the adaptive value of the human mind. And what method were they using to study that? They were using observation. And who are some of the key proponents of this theory? So this is basically what you should know about each of these. And then also, you must also look at why psychologists use animals in their research. We have two broad reasons, the applied reasons or the practical reasons, and then the theoretical reasons. So you need to know each of these reasons. And then the issue of ethics, since psychology is concerned with animals and is concerned with human beings, we need to guide the kind of research that they do. So we need to have some principles, we need to have some guidelines. And for us in psychology, we use the APA guidelines as far as research with animals and research with human beings are concerned. So you should be abreast with some of these ethical principles, like obtaining institutional approval before you do any research. That is having the ethical clearance before you even start any research. And then in doing any research, you should be able to weigh the cost and the benefit. What benefit are we going to get? Is the benefit more than the harm that we are going to cause to the people? And this brings to mind the issue about the Ebola vaccine trial currently that has become a debatable issue in Ghana. People are concerned that Ebola is a deadly disease, so why should human beings be used? Why can't we use animals? But the truth is animals have already been used. Now this is the time to try it on human beings. So we need to weigh this before a firm decision can be taken. So you need to be abreast with all these ethical principles: informed consent, confidentiality, anonymity, debriefing, deception, inducement, and all that. You need to know all that. Then psychology also is a field that we engage in a whole lot of research. And so the issue of research method is also key to us. We basically have two types of research methods. We have what we call the experimental research method and then the non-experimental research method. When it comes to the non-experimental research method, we have several of them. Several: cross-sectional, case study, naturalistic observation, participant observation, and several of them. You need to have this at your fingertips. And then finally, you also need to look at methods of acquiring knowledge. As I said, the science or the scientific method is just one of the ways by which we know things. There are several other methods by which we come to acquire knowledge. Sometimes from personal experiences, other times from authority figure, other times from intuition. Our mind just tells us that this is how this should be done. Sometimes we hold on it and it works. Tenacity, we need to understand all these things. So basically, I think if we should be able to familiarize ourselves with these areas that I've talked about, we should be fully prepared for the exams. Thanks so much, and I wish you all the best in the forthcoming exam. Thank you.